Allow me to finish. Why they should allow it to get to a situation like this, where we are once again wondering whether there is any sense or whether India is being too soft. And I'm afraid too many people in India today are beginning to feel that we are being too soft and we are being accommodating. A soft state unless we take a harder line.
Precisely, and we are being far too accommodating. You know, the point here is, Mr. Mahesh Jethmalani, let me just ask one of our guests in Pakistan, Mr. Kasuri, for example. Mr. Kasuri, consider how generous India is towards your country. Let me take the case of the 2611 investigation. Mr. Kasuri, just 1 minute, please hear me out. You see, the government of India is today preparing to receive a second judicial commission from your country on 2611 for a trial in Pakistan that is virtually a non-starter. You also know that. Not even all the witnesses have been examined in the case. Not only this, Mr. Kasuri, India has allowed cross-examination of 4 key witnesses of 2611 as demanded by the Pakistanis. This is despite the fact that expert advises against cross-examination. The special public prosecutor says no cross-examination. The government of India in the past said no cross-examination. This when the Pakistanis have also demanded the written statements of all the 4 witnesses. In other words, what I'm telling you, Mr. Kasuri, is that our country is so generous and so forgiving towards yours that we are bending over backwards to say, okay, you want this, you want this, you want this, it'll be done. We, in fact, if you have forgotten, a convicted murderer called Mr. Chishti was allowed to leave India because of his age, because of his old age, because India says it's an investment in the smooth relations with your country. That happened in April, sir. We know how to treat prisoners and you don't. We know the rule of law and you don't, sir. Mr. Kasuri, counter me on any one of my facts tonight.
Are you taking a law class? Or do you think you are addressing class 5 boys?
I'm telling you the fact.
You are teaching us lessons. You are giving us lessons.
I'm telling you the fact.
See, the fact is.
Am I wrong on what I said about 2611?
The fact is. Now, please allow me also to say something. If you are, that generous, be generous. Allow me to say something. The fact is, your government, your High Commissioner, and all the army failed to honor a soldier whom they launched as a spy. They used him as a tissue paper and forgot about him.
Sir, you have just, I am so sorry that you are using this kind of language. I must stop you from allowing. Sir, please have some respect for Sarabjit today and understand that is a person who served.
No.
Please don't use these words.
I honor him.
Please don't use these words.
I feel he should be.
Yes.
You should give him the status of a shaheed.
He is.
After all, he laid down his life for your country.
Sir, let me tell you
He laid down his life for your country.
Sir, he laid down his life because your system allowed him to be killed despite his having served a sentence for a crime he did not commit. A fact which has been acknowledged by the 2 lawyers on the panel today, given the facts I presented before them. You should have reopened the case and allowed him to go. And because the case was over, you allowed him to be butchered in your jail today, sir. He was butchered.
What were you doing? Why were you quiet? You were so unconcerned about your prisoner.
Sir, I don't want to get...
You were not worried about your prisoner.
I've just proven one thing, sir.
You are not worried?
Sir, I've just proven one thing. On 2611, an issue that hurts us the most, a fact that stings us the most, we are being forgiving towards you, Mr. Jethmalani. The way we have extended ourselves on the 2611 Judicial Commission of Pakistan, your comments, have we not been far too accommodative already?
You know, our 2 surveillance plane was shot down in Karachi by the Indian intelligence, and we took it very soberly.
So why
there could have been a war. There are 2 most expensive surveillance planes which were only Indian specific, and the Indian intelligence entered into the naval base and destroyed those planes.
I'm telling you today. I'm telling you today, sir.
Enough is enough.
Sir, you are a lawyer. You are a lawyer. You are a lawyer.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I think you are very fond of your voice. You are very fond of your voice.
That's all right. You can continue, please.
Your voice is not like Muhammad Rafi.
Let Asma Jangir be member of the Inquiry Commission.
Sir, I'm not trying to be Muhammad Rafi. Let's not trivialize the argument, sir. I asked you a question on how we have been accommodating on the 2611 Commission. What was wrong in what I asked?
Let me say so. See, the position is, please treat it as a human problem. as a human problem don't involve statecraft. As Sarabjit Singh was concerned, he was from a village called Pikiwan, which was earlier, before partition, part of Kasur subdivision, from where I come from. So I have, you see, lot of sympathy for him, and I feel sorry that in such circumstances he was killed, but that doesn't mean that the state of Pakistan is involved. It was a personal animosity and a scuffle between the two individuals.
Sir, Mr. Kasuri,
it should be treated like that, and it should be treated like a human, be dealt as a human problem.
But Ahmad Raza Kasuri,
statecraft
but
problem.
Ahmad Raza Kasuri, it was not an accident. All of India knows it's not an accident, and I know that you know. You know, Mr. Kasuri, it was not an accident. You know what is happening.
Okay,
Just,
You know, I'm sure you know, I'm sure Admiral Javed Iqbal knows, I'm sure Barrister Zafarullah Khan knows.
Between two condemned prisoners.
No,
it
it
was
is not.
scuffle between the two condemned prisoners who already knew their fate, that they had got to be hanged.
No,
so why not kill another? See.
He was not going to be hanged at all.
If he was not going to be hanged at all, he had to be released. He didn't have to die like this when it was known that he would have to die. That's exactly the point.
No.
That is the point we are coming to. So that is the point. That is why. That is the point.
Yet,
That's
what I say. You should. Please.
You allowed this.
I wanted to say, please agitate all this before Supreme Court.
Which Supreme Court? The judiciary
Supreme Court of Pakistan.
The judiciary of Pakistan, which is a joke.
I'm not talking about Supreme Court of India.
The judiciary of Pakistan, which is a joke. Supreme Court of India has already
done a lot in Sanjay Dutt case.
The judiciary of Pakistan, which is a joke. Such a joke that even when the police inform the witnesses that somebody is the culprit, your judiciary considers it seriously. It's a joke, sir. I'm sorry to say
Can I say about the Sanjay Dutt case in India?
Well, let me tell you.
Can I say the same?
None of the statements.
In the Sanjay Dutt case in India.
Sir, don't talk about Sanjay Dutt. I'm talking about the fact that none of the statements recorded were in front of us. Sir, because none of the statements.
You have no right to dispute.
Sir, because
you have no right to dispute our Supreme Court,
sir,
please.
Well, you just said none of the statements.
Respect your Supreme Court, please respect
none of the statements recorded in front of a magistrate was taken under oath. I do not know any civilized court in the world where things operate like this. Mahesh Jethmalani wanted to respond.
Supreme Court is a joke. Your Supreme Court
please,
is a hoax.
Sir. Mahesh Jethmalani, please. Mahesh Jethmalani wants to respond. Mahesh Jethmalani.
I'm sorry, let's not.
Mr. Jethmalani,
let's not insult Supreme Court.
So we can disagree on that. We can disagree on that.
Look, Arnav, all I want to tell our Pakistani guests, finally, is that in this country there are people who are increasingly beginning to believe that there's a very small section in Pakistan that now really wants peace and friendship with India.
Yeah.
Aryaman has said so earlier, and he's what one would call a dove. I'm sure even he's veering around to a view that, Pakistan is getting increasingly, extremist. And there's a very small constituency for peace left there. That's the impression that is gaining ground. Naresh Gujral has said it in a more muted manner. And all we can say is that unless there is some genuine repentance shown for both 2611 and for the so-called scuffle in which Sarabjit Singh was involved, more and more people in this country are going to give up on Pakistan and leave it to the fate it actually deserves.
Naresh Gujral, you are a votary for peace, so are we. But what would you say to our guests from Pakistan today?
I would say that at the end of the day, we are neighbors.
Sure, sir.
Please,
we will remain neighbors. For God's sake, let's not vitiate the atmosphere so much. For God's sake, please order a credible inquiry. For God's sake, please satisfy India and Indians. But who did it?
Being sensible.
And punish the guilty. But it should be an inquiry which is a credible inquiry. Because, as I said earlier, we can't wish away the fact that we are neighbors.
And please understand,
that is the reality of...
Understand, Admiral Javed Iqbal, Ahmad Raza Kasuri and Barrister Zafarullah Khan, that today, not without reason...
We want you to be our friends.
Sir, and everybody would like to be friends, but this is not an extension of a hand of friendship. Look, this is creating a hostile atmosphere, sir.
We have ordered a judicial commission.
No, we want to do the trust deficit.
Look, I think the reality is
that we are going to be neighbors. Finding of the Judicial Commission.
The reality is
the Judicial Commission finding will be very apt and very judicious, and I'm sure they will convince you equally,
You're welcome.
I hope so, sir.
That's, I think.
I hope so, sir. Let me assure you, we'll follow where the Judicial Commission goes, just like you follow the 2611 Commission. Give us justice for 2611 as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on that debate. Thank you.